All right. Hello and welcome to another episode of This Week in Sportsball. I'm here at my humble abode in my backyard because I was kicked off the school premises because I was, quote, being suspicious. So, we're going to be having it here. All right, I'm just kidding. We're here back at school. We're ready to talk about NFL free agency. First off, let's talk about the NFC West and the two teams that are completely blowing it up this offseason. First off, the Seattle Seahawks. They have traded away their starting quarterback, their number one wide receiver, released their number two wide receiver, and signed Sam Darnold. They signed Sam Darnold. They traded Geno Smith to the Raiders for a third-round pick. They traded DK Metcalf to the Steelers for a second, which that is going to be amazing to see with absolutely no one throwing DK and GP the ball. And now they have Sam Darnold with Jake Bobo. I'm excited to see how this team runs next year. As we head to the other side of the NFC West, we head over to Santa Clara, where the 49ers are in even worse position than the Seattle Seahawks. Like I just said, the 49ers completely blew everything up this offseason. They're going to be trying to rebuild and reload, and hopefully they'll be back in contention in maybe 2 years. That's very generous, though. They lost so many key pieces this offseason, though it's mainly aging contracts and people who were a little bit subpar last season. Let's just see who. They traded Deebo Samuel to the Commanders, cut Kyle Juszczyk, cut Javon Hargrave, cut Malik Collins. Dre Greenlaw signed with the Broncos. Charvarius Ward signed elsewhere. Talanoa Hufanga signed elsewhere. Aaron Banks elsewhere. And on top of that, Jalen Moore signed to the Chiefs. Elijah Mitchell signed to the Chiefs. And they cut Leonard Floyd because they thought they were going to get Joey Bosa. And then Joey Bosa signed with the Bills. So this rebuild looks very, very similar to the one that they had almost exactly 10 years ago today. They came off a subpar season, and they are just blowing it up before it gets really bad. And that rebuild was really, really hard to watch. But the difference in this situation is they have the QB of their future. Now all you need is to build a good team around him. I've seen this happen in 1 year with the Bengals. So this is a tall task, but it's not impossible to get it done in a year or two. But on top of that, we're not 100% sure where Brock can be without an amazing team, because he's had nothing but amazing teams since he's been drafted. This is going to be a big, big year to see what Brock Purdy is capable of. As we head over to Green Bay and the NFC North, oh boy. The Packers have done some interesting things this offseason, but after Mark Murphy stated that he would be in a win-now mode and we need to be more aggressive in the offseason, it's No, we didn't do very good. We lost some pieces in our secondary with Eric Stokes leaving to the Raiders, but we gained Nate Hobbs. Nate Hobbs is a very solid cornerback coming from the Raiders, but is he a Jair Alexander replacement? No, not even in the slightest. We are keeping Jair Alexander just to see if we can get something done there. Maybe we can get a good draft pick, something in return, or if we can try to bribe him to stay just a year longer. We also overpaid for subpar guard and Aaron Banks. He's not bad, but we paid way too much money for him. The thing about the Jair Alexander situation is that we're keeping him just to see if we can get something out of him, but the thing is, we have no leverage in the situation. Jair Alexander he's not going to play. Probably he's not going to play. And teams are probably going to wait out until we have to cut him, and they'll just get him for something cheaper. Ogden Jenkins will probably be moved to center as Jordan Morgan plays right guard and Aaron Banks plays left guard. This O-line looks good. Now we have to see how our first-round pick, Jordan Morgan, is going to do. He played very limited snaps this last season. Actually, no snaps this last season. And he's been very injury-prone. He's coming off an injury in college, and then he re-aggravated it and got new injuries during last season, and he didn't even play. So this is going to be a very interesting year for our O-line. But hey, at least we got Isaiah McDuffie back, am I right? As we talk about the Minnesota Vikings, we're going to be heading over to the one and only
Brett McGovern, a Minnesota Vikings fan.
That sucks. So
definitely beefing up the interior of our O-line and D-line was a huge need. Obviously, O-line last year was a big issue. Darrisaw ended up going out for the season. So beefing up the interior of our O-line was a big thing. And then also the defensive back room was also a big one. Yeah, I feel great. I love what Kwesi did, our GM. I think he did a great job, especially getting the two guys from the Colts, Ryan Kelly and Will Fries. I think that was huge for us, just beefing up the interior of our O-line. And then obviously the two D tackles that we ended up getting. You know, it sucks when we lose guys, like we lost edge rusher Pat Jones, we lost Cam Bynum. Like, it just sucks to lose those guys, but I think Kwesi did a good job of bringing the right guys in that can fit in our schemes. Like I noted earlier, the two guys from Indianapolis, we got center Ryan Kelly and guard Will Fries. I think that was definitely our biggest need going into free agency, and I think we addressed that perfectly. The deals were a tad, like the Will Fries deal was a tad bit longer than I expected. I think it was 5 years, $88 million. But, I trust Kwesi. I honestly do, and I think Kevin O'Connell also has a big impact on, who we're signing. He's got a big voice in that front office room. So, but I say, yeah, the Colts duo that we got, but that doesn't overshadow. I love the Jonathan Allen signing, beefing up the interior of our D line. I like that a lot. Yeah, I'd say, in my opinion, I think our roster is going to be better this year. We got news yesterday that Harrison Smith will be coming back, so that's huge for us, having that veteran piece. But I think the one spot now that's kind of a question mark is that free safety spot. Losing Cam Bynum is tough, obviously a fan favorite. So I think that's going to be a big spot in the draft, maybe a corner safety. That could be a big one. But I'm excited for J.J. McCarthy. I'm excited for the future. Sam Darnold, it was a fun season, no doubt about that. But, I'm very excited for what the future holds. Brian Flores, first, I'd like to note Brian Flores staying. That's huge for us. He's great. But, yeah, the fact that he's staying, if we can just keep feeding him as many players as he needs to get that scheme going, I think will be good for us.
I think that's it. That was awesome. Yeah, I appreciate it.
I appreciate that, man. That was fun.
So, thank you, Brett. Next up, we have the Chicago Bears. The Bears are completely revitalizing their team this offseason, especially with new coaching, and it's just something to see. The three-time offseason champions are looking to add another trophy in their imaginary trophy case. Trading for premier lineman Joe Thuney from the Kansas City Chiefs, picking up center Drew Dalman. This O-line is miles better than it was last season, and it's something that they really needed to pay attention to because Caleb Williams was running for his life last year. Bulking up the defensive line with Grady Jarrett and Dayo Adeoyingbo, I think that's how you say that. This Bears team might actually be over 500 this year. Oh, Jets. The Jets signed Justin Fields, a quarterback that has shown little to no progress in the passing game since he's came into the league 4 years ago. I really don't understand the Justin Fields hype. He's a below-average passer. His decision-making is very bad. It's really bad. But hey, at least he can run fast. This move is going to be really interesting to look over because he is going to be the starting quarterback for the Jets next season, as he said that he would not sign with them if he wasn't. The Browns probably made the biggest move this offseason with bringing in Super Bowl champion and snubbed Super Bowl MVP Kenny Pickett. He was snubbed by a totally undeserving player that should not have won the award. They also convinced Myles Garrett to come back. They bribed him. They probably bribed him. They gave him a crap ton of money. And it really shows because Myles Garrett was ready to just leave. He was ready to get the hell out of there. And this is the most blatant Stockholm Syndrome I've ever seen in my life. They were not letting him go, and he just laid down and took it. That is going to be all for this week. I hope to see you guys again, and you guys have a good weekend, all right?